Um, you were talking about the waves, the patterns, the jet streams,
Mhm.
and yet the solution lies in the hands of psychology or the squishy, emotional, weird thinking human beings that wander around the planet. Um, and until there's a clear alignment between how you drive the emotions of those squishy people to to act on data, um, well, we've kind of lost.
So that was a big part of that was a, a really important component of my uh, earlier lectures with this. And in particular, what I was really striving for is to be able to differentiate, for example, facts from myths. Because I really what I was seeing most is that people, many people, weren't able to differentiate the science from the craziness that they saw on TV,
Mm.
right? And like a really good, like a good starter, like myth number one was like always this idea that, hey man, the science still isn't settled because if the Earth is heating, then why is it so cold outside, right? It's like it's that classic like there is no world hunger because I just ate, right?
Yep.
It's like, well, it doesn't work that way, man. And so I think really this idea that people just they it's like, well, what do you mean the Earth is? And you mentioned earlier global warming, and it's really interesting when you look at the opinions of people in regards to climate change. It started going steadily up, and then somewhere like I think in the 90s there was this drop, and then it started going up again in regards to people whether or not they believed in climate change. And I had to go look at why did that drop in the 90s, and it was because they changed the wording from global warming to global climate change, and it took a while for people to actually adapt to that jargon. I think it's really something that's really needs to be talked about, like how we present information to people and how they interpret that, and then how they interpret and how they're able to differentiate between, hey man, is this a fact or is this something crazy I saw on TV?
And it's weird, isn't it? Because all of the psychological data out there, and none of it's really quantifiable because they're humans. You can't quantify humans very easily, but you can qualify it. Is that people don't make decisions on logic mostly. They actually mostly make decisions on sensations, on feelings, on emotions, on what satisfies their ego or not, so on and so forth. And I wonder, how do you start going down that road of helping people to stroke their own ego to make long-term beneficial decisions for themselves?
Well, for me, the best way to answer that is to create an example. So I've been ski guiding for years now, 20 years. So I've seen the shifts in people's observation, people's interpretations of climate change shift over those years. And I'll definitely remember skiing with people in the Alps, and we'll be on the chairlift. We're having a great day. We're going up, and there'd be that question of like, well, you don't really believe in this climate change thing, do you? And then it was I felt compelled to have to talk about it, right? And and I think that's what really got me going on this idea of trying to find the common ground between people. What's the common interest? And for me, for sure, it's skiing. And so what I would do is um, I would I would take these people um, to to areas where you could really see it firsthand. So, like for example, in France, as you probably know, there's the you can ski the Vallée Blanche, right? You go up the Aiguille d'Amedy and you come down this beautiful arête, and you ski down the Vallée Blanche, and when you're done, when I was in like 20s, you could pretty much hike out of there. It wouldn't take very long. And then you could get on the train and go back into Chamonix. And now you actually have to take they actually have a bubble. They have a lift. You have to actually take the lift out. It's the glaciers receded so much. And then on the glacier, you can actually see they have these little year markers, where here's the glacier in 2000, and here's where it was in 1990. And you can see firsthand how this is happening. And I think you can then turn to somebody who's questioning this, and you say, well, what do you think? What 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 is this saying to you, and what is this saying to you in regards to your opportunities for doing something that you love doing, like skiing, say 10 years from now? And like, what about your kids? What about their kids? What do you think it's going to be like for them? And so I think those types of experiences help people formulate these ways in which they can make it easier to understand the changes that are happening, and then in some way, one way or another, conform them to their own ideology, their own identity.
Mm.